Okay. There we go. All right, so today we're gonna be doing a full body resistance band workout. I've been doing resistance bands this week. I really like how that's actually been feeling on my muscles and my joints. So we're going to keep on going with that. We're gonna do mostly upper body with resistance bands, but use a little bit of dumbbells at the end for lower body and legs. I have found that it's harder to work resistance bands with legs, so I'd like to do that. So if that sounds good to you, hit that like button for me to let me know you want more content like this where we use a variety of equipment. So I wanted to start out talking about the chest muscle. So I'm gonna show you how to target your chest with resistance bands. Now, a standard exercise with a resistance band is a chest press, where so you'd attach the band like this at shoulder height. And then from here, doing a chest press out towards the front. Now this is a great exercise, but it has a key problem. So the heavier you go with this exercise, the more this band is gonna pull you over. So eventually, you're gonna be so pulled back that you're not actually really working your chest anymore, you're just getting pulled off your feet. So there is a ceiling to this exercise. So it eventually becomes not practical. So what I found works better for targeting the chest, where you can continue to progress it, is taking a bench and elevating it. Now, with the bench, you can actually, when it's elevated like this, you can maintain tension from the resistance band the whole time, and you're still working your chest. Now, it used to be thought that this would work only the upper chest. Turns out it works out that entire pec muscle, so that middle and lower part of the chest as well, while putting an extra emphasis of working that upper chest as well. So not only do you get a better upper chest movement, you still get that complete pectoral muscle with this incline bench. So for this, I'm gonna put the band underneath so that I have tension all the way down here at the bottom of the movement. So you can have the band on the inside or outside, whatever feels more comfortable. From here, a nice wide grip. So I'm having my hands right in line with my elbows, pushing up towards the ceiling, and then back down, all the way down. Now, if you need to, you can wrap the band once around to take out some of that slack out of the band. So that way you have tension all the way through the movement. So pushing up and back down, all the way back down is the most important part of this movement. And that will get you a chest exercise using resistance bands. Now, I like to always pair a pushing movement with a pulling movement. So we're going to be working these muscles back here between the shoulder blades and the lats in the upper back. So for this, wrap it around a post about shoulder height, and I'm gonna do it with thumbs pointed in to really emphasize the middle traps. So from here, I'm gonna step back till I feel that band pulling my shoulder blades forward. I'm gonna pinch my shoulders back and pull to the back. So it's one smooth motion of pinching your shoulders together, pulling back. This is that retraction of the shoulder blades. Works all those little muscles around the shoulder blades to pull and control that movement, because you want that to be able to glide along your rib cage. I'm really trying to think about, instead of thinking about bending my elbows, I'm thinking about pushing my elbows out behind me. So really driving those elbows backwards. So I don't want them to be narrow in here. I want to try and really keep them wide out to the side to really let those shoulder blades work. Anytime I'm doing this, I want my hand to be in line with my elbow. So I don't want it to tuck in. I want it to be wide out here. There's a lot of little ways I've found that it's easy to have my brain cheat my body, where it figures out more efficient ways of doing the movement. But what we're actually looking for in working out is not efficient. We want to actually create inefficiency and a little bit of movement to then build that muscle. So, I don't know why I detached this band. I'm just gonna add another band to it. So I like to start with a single band and then move to a double band for my working set. So the great thing about bands is, just like plates, you can just add an additional band to increase the resistance. So going back to chest press, or not chest press, but a bench press. I'm gonna wrap this once around to give myself a little bit more tension. So back arched, I should feel that pulling me down all the way down here. From here, I'm gonna push up towards the ceiling, and then back down, keeping my hands wide. Now for me, I'm trying to do 11 reps per exercise right now. Next week, I'm gonna be trying for 12. So I'm gonna add reps as I go to continue to challenge that muscle. Now with this, letting it pull me forward, hands wide about elbow width or shoulder width, and I'm gonna keep my hands in line with my elbow, really trying to drive that elbow back, going for 11 reps. I should feel that between my shoulder blades. And 11. Oof. So for me, that doesn't work my bicep as much as it does these muscles back here between my shoulders, my middle traps and my rhomboids. I feel like those are my more limiting factors. So that's why I'm doing the thumb in variant to really build up those muscles, because some of my other muscles are stronger. Those ones are a little bit weaker, I think. One thing with this seated dumbbell bench press, I'm gonna try it without the twist, because the angle that is pulling, it makes the bands a little more like this than like this. So I want those bands pulling as much straight up and down as I can. So that way I'm getting that force directly into the muscle. So it's right over the top. So I'm gonna try and have the band positioned where it's right underneath where my shoulders are. That way I have good tension all the way through. I feel it pulling down now because I have it high enough where it's actually going to provide that resistance. From here, pushing straight up towards the ceiling, and opening up my chest, but keeping my hands wide at elbow width. This is working that chest muscle. Breathing in as I go down and out as I go up. And relax. Oh. That last little bit, going from here to here, makes all the difference in how difficult that exercise is. I feel like my muscle has to strain a lot more down in here than it does in this range up here. So a lot of people do these sort of half reps up here, because that's where they feel strong. But down in this part is where you really build that muscle, where you have that high tension, and that's where you want your muscle to be strong, where it's in the high tension on it, where it's really pulling apart. You want to build up that strength so it doesn't tear in that range. So you want to go all the way down, all the way up, and that will help improve your entire chest muscle. Not just a little piece of it, but the full length where it's really getting to expand and contract. So now we're going back to our horizontal row. Starting with the band right at shoulder height, and bring your chest up, shoulders pulled forward, and then pulling back, and then all the way back forward. Now the important part is not so far how far you can get back, it's that you're returning all the way back where your shoulders are pulled apart. So don't come back to here, come back to here, where you have that full row. And relax. We're gonna do one more set of each of these exercises. I like to do between 3 and 5 sets of an exercise, because the more we repeat an exercise, the more that muscle grows. So I used to do just 1 set where it was just a one time doing each exercise and then be done. But I found I've actually built up more muscle in the last period of time doing multiple sets where it's like compounding interest. You just can build up muscle faster by increasing it. Excuse me a moment. So we've got one more set of chest press to do, or of, keep saying chest press. It's a incline bench press. So I'm gonna make sure that this is right underneath where my shoulders are, so it's pulling straight down. Bringing my hands out to the sides so they're elbow width. Chest arch, so my chest is open and really stretched at this bottom position. Pushing up to the front and then back down. Now I'm going until I feel tired in that muscle. And then relax. The great thing about bands is if I ever need to let it get that pressure off where I would not be able to push it up again, I can just drop my elbows in where I take all the slack out of the band, and then it just releases. That's one great thing about bands, is it's much easier to be your own spotter, because the band, you lose all that all the resistance if you take the tension off the band. Now the trick with that is making sure that you keep that tension on during the exercise, where you're not cheating yourself out of that exercise. But I really like it because I find I can be in more control of the movement, and where I don't ever get pinned underneath a weight. All right, one more set of rows, and then we're gonna move on to some arm exercises. I need to adjust that just a little bit down. So it's pulling straight. There we go. Pulling to the back. Now the exact number of reps doesn't actually matter. It's much more you want to go until you feel tired in that muscle. So for me, it's being tired between those shoulder blades. Oh, I'm aiming for being within 1 or 2 reps of failure where I wouldn't be able to complete another rep. So I'm trying to go, if I at maximum could do, let's say 12 reps, I'm aiming for about 10. So in this one, if I could do 13 reps, I'm aiming for 11, and then trying to build that up over time. All right, I'm gonna move this bench out of our way. Now this next exercise, this is the one of the ones that I've snapped bands doing. So I'm gonna show you how I found works best when using a band. So I used to do 2 hands at the same time, where I'd be stepping in the middle of the band and going something like this overhead, where I'm going up. But doing 2 hands at the same time, it'll actually snap the band because they're not designed to stretch that much. So instead, what I do now is I do 1 arm at a time. I step right here on step right there on the band. So I have a lot more slack, but I still have tension down here at the bottom of the movement where my elbow's high. I'm working that tricep muscle in the back of my arm. So elbow high, going straight out towards the ceiling. I'm trying to bend at the elbow. So I'm working this muscle right back in here. Now keeping that elbow high increases that tension on your tricep, especially that long head of the tricep that goes all the way to your shoulder. And I'm holding onto the fabric part of the handle on this one, rather than the grip. And same thing on the other side. Going straight out, really trying to bend at that elbow. So I'm not letting my shoulder move. So I'm gonna pair that with the bicep movement for this muscle right in here. So these took me a long time to get correct, where I would actually feel like my bicep was growing. For a long time, I felt like I had much smaller biceps than the rest of the muscles I had. And I just could never get these to grow. But what I found works for me, and the real big takeaway I was missing was I was positioning incorrectly. I was holding the weights like this, doing curls like this, or holding the bands like this. So doing curls like this, you feel all the tension up here and almost none down here. So what I do now is I put one foot out in front, and where I have tension all the way through this movement. So I lean back a little bit so I can feel that tension down here. Now that's where that muscle is actually gonna grow, where it's in that lengthened position where I'm pulling up, and I can feel that all the way from where my arm is straight and up. The more I lean back, the more intense that stretch is gonna be. And 11. And that's what really gets that lengthening of the bicep that's gonna cause that to grow. I got harder real fast there. Wow. I'm really trying to focus on going straight from my elbow, bending the elbow and then straightening it. Man, my I don't know if anyone else has these, but where you start seeing stars before you get a headache. So I'm gonna try and do my best today. Sometimes I get really bad headaches, and that impacts how I work out. So definitely dealing with a bit of that today. So we'll see if we can get through this. My goal is to get through 4 sets of these. We're only halfway through. But I might need to stop before that. But that's part of the thing about working out, I think, is doing what you can, doing the best you can with what you have on that day. Some days you don't get through all the things you had planned, but it's important to do what you can. So even if you don't feel great, giving it a try, seeing if you can, how much you can get through. Because the workout you do is always going to be better than not doing any workout. So it doesn't matter how ideal your plan is if you don't do it. So, and there might be what works optimally. Like for instance, split squat, great exercise, really optimal. But if you hate it and don't do it, it's not going to be an effective workout for you. So finding an exercise that you can do, that maybe it's an assisted split squat, using a bit of resistance band attached at a pull-up bar or something like that. This is set number 3. And switch to the other side. So we're gonna stop on 3 because I want to get a little bit of legs in while I still can, and I can feel that my head is getting worse. So we're gonna get our last arm exercises in, make sure they're balanced between the 2 sides, both front and back and left and right. So going into our curl, last set of curls. Now, if you're liking these workouts and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do all my workouts live on stream. So I'm trying to be really genuine, showing what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and if you have any questions or if you have any comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the chat. So hit that subscribe button to be here live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. If you're looking to improve, your health in 2026, looking to build muscle, join me on this journey. So we're gonna do a suitcase squat. I like using dumbbells for this because it's easier to control the resistance all the way through the movement. The one issue with doing bands is you lose the resistance the lower you go, and you really do want to go really deep into a squat on this exercise. So I'm going to have my hands right at my sides. I'm going to bend my knees, sitting down to the ground and then back up. So I'm having the dumbbells just above the ground and then back up. I'm working these muscles right in the front of my thighs. I'm going until I feel that burning in my thigh. And relax. Shifting to a heavier weight. Now we're going to do a stiff-legged deadlift. Now these work your hamstrings in the back of the thigh. What I'm going to do is bend my knees slightly, and then from here, I'm going to push my hips out to the back, keeping my back straight. So I'm dropping the weights down till I feel that tension in my hamstrings, and then back up. Think about sticking your butt out, hitting the wall behind you. That was the thing that helped me figure this out. How to protect my back is pushing my hips backwards rather than thinking about bending forwards. One more. And I'm gonna need to stop there. So I can feel that as I'm doing that, my head's getting worse and worse, so I'm gonna need to call it a day here. So we did what we could. So if you like these live streams, if you wanna join me working what we can on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, hope to see you there.